A generic greeting to everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I'm SomewhatDeadLee. Welcome, everyone, to the very first video of my channel. I thought it would be really befitting that the first video that I posted, the first Let's Play, in fact, that it would be best to go all the way back to my childhood and pick out my very first video game, which is Phantasy Star: The End of the Millennium. I say it's my first video game, but I'm pretty sure it's either this one, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo, or Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis. But seeing that Phantasy Star is an RPG, it works better for the first series that's going to show up on this channel. So let me drag you with me down memory lane, back to when I was like a wee tot of, say, 6 or 7, sitting in front of one of those old boxy TVs with the red, yellow, and white cables that you had to plug in. And I remember just getting immersed into this beautiful story with this really simple, but at least to me and at the time was a really dynamic combat system. The music, despite being on a 16-bit system, and the characters. You know, it's really the characters that I fell in love with, and it's this game that's responsible for my love of RPGs even up to this day. If you haven't played this before, I highly recommend that you get it. You can get it on Steam for like just $1. It's well worth it. You know, this I would consider to be one of the absolute greatest JRPGs in all of video game history. You know, Final Fantasy, what is that? You know, some crisis that some glasses-wearing cherry boy is going through? No. I'm telling you guys, it's all about the Phantasy Star series. Funny thing is, of course, I since this is my first game, I actually started out of order. You know, there's Phantasy Stars 1, 2, and 3 before this. And you'll see some references in here to the older games, especially if you're a longtime fan, you know what to expect. Anyway, I simply adore this game. There was a period in my time, in my lifetime, where, you know, for several years, I would actually come back to this game maybe once or twice a year. So I've replayed this game to high heaven. And you'll see these little like tricks that I'll do here and there, but for the most part it's a really straightforward game, and I really appreciate all of you joining me here as I revisit this for the nth time. So without further ado, let's get started. Do I want to narrate? I mean, I probably should, but like I'm still trying to figure out what kind of style my YouTubing is going to be. Okay, so this is your first job since you joined the Hunters Guild. You better put your heart into it. So I'm not a trainee anymore. From this day on, you are a full-fledged partner. Now come on, let's go. Where are we off to this time? It's a bit far. We're going to Motavia Academy in the town of Piata. Wow! So we're going to the Town of Learning. I wonder what's happened there. Who knows? The message said, just come. We'll get the details once we're there. Since we're going to be there anyway, I'd sure like to tour the academy. Is that all you can think about? Get moving or I'll leave you behind. Taskmaster Alice. AW2284. Monster attacks have swelled the ranks of those who call themselves hunters. But as the attacks become long ass pause that they didn't time correctly. As the attacks become ever more frequent and powerful, an elite few begin to wonder what is behind this outbreak. And when and how will it all end? Of the Millennium. Oops, I wandered around and now I've gotten separated from Alice. I've got to find her. This kid. Okay, let me just adjust some of the. Oops. Let me just adjust some of the settings here. Let's do battle speed. That's fine. Buttons. Okay. This is. Yeah, I'll stick to that. Gosh, remember the days when there were only 3 buttons on your. Well, I mean, 3 main buttons for your right hand. We didn't even have a left and right, I think, on the Sega Genesis. But yes, this is our main character, Chaz. Now, I know some of you die-hard purists, myself included, are kind of keeping the Japanese names and terms in the back of your head. But again, I started off with this, so even the English names for me are stuck, like seared into my brain. But here we have Chaz. He's our main character. 16 years old, and he's getting lost in this academy already without his guardian slash mentor slash older sister figure slash mother figure slash something other figure. Oh, anyway. I'm the type of player that likes to go around and talk to all the NPCs just because I love world building, and like the developers put so much time and effort into it anyway, so you might as well enjoy what kind of dialogue, what kind of little Easter eggs they've put in there. So we have a month ago, monsters began to appear in the basement. Okay, so we have an idea of like what's going to be going on. Are you a hunter? Are you here to exterminate the monsters? Yes, I am. I am here to save the day. It's f***ing hero time. A kid like you gonna be able to handle it. Bitch, I have knives. I will f***ing cut you. See how I can handle that. Just where have you been? Come on, let's go. But we have to see the principal and get the details about this commission. Come, little duckling. Let me take you to the principal's office. Welcome. I'm the principal of this academy. Let's see, you must be Alice, the hunter, and you are her assistant, Chaz. Forgive me, but Chaz is a full-fledged partner of mine. Now let's get down to business. Describe the situation. About a month ago, mysterious monsters started to appear within this academy. It appears they've made the basement their headquarters. I've since closed it off. So far, no one's been hurt, but who knows when they'll appear again. Please, I beg you to destroy all those creatures. I'd like to settle this matter discreetly. I'm counting on your reputation, Alice. No problem. You can rely on us. Although, it's strange that all those monsters suddenly appeared in this academy. Usually, monsters don't come into inhabited areas. Do you have any idea how this happened? How would I know? Stop asking questions. Just hurry and exterminate those monsters. Don't forget, I'm paying you dearly for your services. Ooh, big mystery. Something smells fishy here. That principal was hiding something. Maybe he's afraid of the monsters? Now, I think there's more to it than that. Things are starting to get interesting. Yes, because monsters randomly spawn inside of a school. Here in Motavia Academy, we search for the truth in the universe. This is the largest research facility on the entire planet. What do you think? Isn't it grand? Really, it doesn't interest me one bit. God, I had such a boy crush on Alice from the get-go. Kind of embarrassing to admit it now, but like, she was in like my memory that I can recall. She was definitely one of those like fictional characters, those badass females, before I even knew the term badass, where I would just sit there and like listen to her talk, watch her like fight and whatnot, and I just, you know, 6-7-year-old me would swoon and go like, ah, she's so cool. Doing such lethal weapons, get out. How rude. I know, right? Gosh, just because a girl's carrying some really, really sharp pointy items. We have abnormal climate, soil depletion, and a decreasing birth rate. It doesn't make for a promising future. This guy's too depressing. Let's get out of here. Yeah, so this is like, they call it the end of the millennium because it's been 1,000 years since this cataclysmic event. So you'll see, especially on this planet, there's some really bad shit with a capital BS going on. Look at this guy, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Let me through, let me through. No, fine. What? You're the hunters? Really? You don't think we can do the job? No, no, not at all. I didn't mean that. Since we have the principal's permission, let us pass. Wait, take me with you. And why should we? My name is Hahn. I'm an assistant at this academy. I work for Professor Holt, who has gone to investigate Birth Valley for his research. We haven't heard from him since, so now I'm searching for the professor's whereabouts. Birth Valley? That's that mysterious place that has been called the Sacred Valley of Life. But what's the connection between the valley and this current monster scare? After the investigation team led by the professor was reported missing, the principal barred everyone from entering Birth Valley. We're trying to get information as to what's going on, but he keeps evading the issue. And then this monster scare begins. I'll bet anything that there's some sort of connection between these incidents. Well, it's true there is something fishy about the principal's behavior. Given the circumstances, I feel compelled to investigate the basement myself, but come to think of it, it is a bit dangerous. So you were just waiting for us to arrive? Well, yeah, you catch on quick. 100 meseta. What? We'll take you with us for 100 meseta. I hope you weren't thinking of asking to tag along with us for free. I can't get that kind of money from the principal. That's not my problem. Now, what are you going to do? Okay, I'll pay. She's so cutthroat, right? $100 and I'll let you tag it along with us. But yes, we have Alice and Chaz and Hahn now. I'm not looking forward to using Hahn in this early game. Let me just make him a tiny bit less useless. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has some really specific skills that are useful, but he's a bit of wet tissue paper, let's just say. Behold, the pinnacle of 1993-1994 combat. Classic turn-based RPG. I got spit on. But yeah, one thing that you'll notice in this game is, like, the developers come up with the strangest names for the monsters. But yeah, I thought this was really cool that we got to see it from the perspective of your characters from behind, and then they would run up and then do their thing. See, by giving him the hunter's knife, he can actually help make a killing move. Anyway, we can consider this to be like the prologue tutorial dungeon. There's not going to be anything that exciting. Depending on how these videos go and how long the dungeons are, I'll probably do like time skips here and there. For sure, if there's some point in the game where I have to do a bit of leveling and grinding, I won't be yay, level up. I won't be recording those, especially I already know, like, my least favorite dungeon about 50% of the way through the game. Yeah, that one. Any other fans or veterans of Phantasy Star 4, I'm curious if you know exactly which dungeon I'm talking about and if it's your least favorite as well. I'm getting spit on. I should probably do some healing. Well, I probably won't get to do any healing because Hahn is really, really slow. Wow. Wow. You missed on the weakest. I hate you. Gosh. But yeah, and this was a time too when. Okay, I'll get to it later. Let me finish this boss fight first. He looks pleasant, and look at all those pulsating red thingies and all that. What is this? Gonna increase attack. God, and I remember, like, I didn't have any idea what any of these attacks and skills did. So a lot of it was, of course, trial and error. You know, this was, you know, a time before Google and whatnot, and you had to buy strategy guides and whatnot. And of course, if I tried to ask my mom to buy strategy guides for a game, I would get an ass whooping. So, trial and error it was. But now, as the amazing professional that I am of Phantasy Star 4, I know all of the technique and skill effects. So the first thing to do was, of course, to bounce up the attack power of Alice and Chaz, because they do the most damage. And Alice can just wail on the boss while Chaz does cleanup, and then Hahn can just poke at it with his little puny little ass dagger, or his puny little ass hunter knife that I gave him because he desperately needed it. God damn it, Hahn. Victory! We did it! Chaz, you need more practice. Your swing is too slow. What? But we destroyed the monster. With my help. Sorry. Now, Hahn, come over here. Man, poor Chaz. I mean, she's a good master. It's that style of teaching where it's like you always point out the flaws so that they constantly improve. What? What are these glass containers for? These... Hey, are you by chance breeding monsters here? If that's the case, this monster business is no mystery after all. I don't know anything. It's the first time I've been in this room. I've only just learned that such a thing exists at the academy. Really? It's the truth. I believe you. For now. The principal must know about these containers. He must also know the connection between this and the disappearance of Professor Holt. Yes, let's see the principal again. Come on, Chaz. Hey, don't leave me here. Alright. I think this is a good place to stop for just part 1. Thanks everybody for joining in. I hope everybody takes care, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye!